welcome to Adventure Ready. Today we have a very important show. We are going to finish the Adventure Ruckus. I'm so excited about it. We are going to put the new Variator in. I had hours messing around with the Variator, and I would rev it, it would go 10, 15 miles an hour, and then it felt like it wanted to take off, and it would bog, and it would feel like it was about to go, and then it would bog. It's like something, it's like it's carburetor, is it the main jet's clogged? I did a YouTube search and watched a video. It said if your Ruckus is bogging at high RPMs, I watched the video, it said the air box. So if you look at your air filter, there's a little rectangle that it sits in, it has to be tight in that box. It's like, no, I put the air filter in, it's in this little box right here, and after I painted it, I put it in tight and then pulled it back like a quarter turn. So it was new paint, I didn't want to scratch it. So it just had a little bit of play to it. Man, I tightened it up. This thing turned into a rocket ship. And that was the old Variator. I haven't even put with the new Variator in it, so I'm thinking it's gonna be faster, but I'm talking about 30 miles an hour, so fast. It was 11:30 at night. I'm in my neighborhood, just in a t-shirt, it's cold, it's February, just flying around the neighborhood, literally laughing. This thing is a joy factory. I could be on a 100-mile-an-hour motorcycle. It was not more fun than getting this Ruckus going 30 miles an hour and having a blast. So, all of that to say is, I am passionate about the Honda Ruckus. And today I'm gonna share that passion with you, and maybe you're gonna find this same joy that I've found. Let's start with, I think this is called the back plate. It has these little plastic pieces. And if you look, the plastic pieces have a pointy side, and then it has a more of a blunt, squared off side. You want the pointy side to go on top. So when you put these in, these little plastic guides, it sets down a little bit farther. So you can see how it's just a little bit pointier, and it makes a difference because this needs to slide in the Variator like this. It sits on the little pieces that stick out like a little, yeah, it just slides right in there. Let me do that one more time. Square it up, and I want you to be able to see in there. It just slides on there like this. I'm trying to do two things at once. There you go. So that's gonna slide freely. See how it just slides freely? This is called the boss. When you put this in, you're gonna set it in and push it all the way back. You don't want it out like this. At first, I thought you're gonna want it out so the belt can sit fully on it. You don't. You wanna push it all the way in, and you're gonna set this on the shaft, the drive shaft, just like that. Push it all the way back. You're gonna put your belt on, and then you're gonna put that new faceplate on. So let's go ahead and take this apart. When you're putting your little weights in, your sliders in, if you notice, one side has mostly plastic or rubber, whatever this is, and the other side kind of has that washery metal look to it. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take your new Variator, and if you're looking, say I'm gonna pick this as the left side. I want the side facing me to be the mostly rubber, not the mostly washer side. And I wanna put the flat side on top, just like this, flat side on top, and then the left side of the center circle, and I'm just gonna keep rotating this through. I'm gonna put the flat part on top, like this, so it's flat and pushed up against there flat like this. And then I'm gonna keep on turning it so it keeps on doing the exact same process over and over again. So I'm looking at this, washer side, rubber side. I want the rubber side facing me, and I'm gonna put the flat side on top again, and just keep on doing this exact same process. So the flat one goes in, and you're gonna keep doing that for all of them, and then we're gonna pop this in. One last time, look at all of these with the flats on top. And then the last one I'm gonna put in, remember it's the rubber side, and I'm gonna make it so it's flat on top. And it's gonna go right in, just like this. So now they're all in there nice. Put the back plate back on. And now we're gonna hold it together, and we're gonna push the boss all the way to the back. And that's how we're gonna put this in. 17 millimeter on the impact gun. I'm gonna basically just put it right on here and then just back it off. Super easy. Knock the nut out. There's two washers. There's a little normal washer, and then there's a big weird washer with a bunch of nubs on it. So just make sure you got the two washers here. It's gonna be a little bit tight in here. It's Loctite it in also. So just yank this out. Now I want to show you these two washers and where they are. So here's the old face. I'm gonna put the new one on. This new one's nice and clean. And then this weird looking washer, see how it has those protrusions on it? Notice it also, it goes on a splined shaft. So the inside of this has the little splines. So what this does, it's gonna go, here's the outside of the face with little nubs pointing out, and those splines are gonna go on the shaft. And then you're gonna take your other little washer, put it on the outside, like that. And then you're gonna put some Loctite on your spline, and then you're gonna finger tight, and you wanna make sure that that weird looking washer is actually on the spline so it actually bites into the shaft also. So let's do this in real time. We're gonna pinch our belt and get it off. Then we're gonna take out the old Variator. And if you don't grab the back, all the little weights are gonna fall out. Not a big deal, but it's part of the deal. So if they fall out, they fall out. And mine fell out. So just grab them all. Make sure there's none stuck in there. So there should be 6 of them total. And then grab my old backing plate. And just take a peek in there and make sure none of the little plastic guides fell off of this. You just don't want debris in there when this is all spinning really fast. Come on now, get this old back plate out. I just felt one of those plastic guides fall off like I was talking about. All right, so we're gonna slide this out and notice what fell off. One of those little plastic guides fell off. So just make sure when you take this out that it actually has all 3 little plastic guides. So this gets set aside. It's actually still good. I might use it in another Ruckus at some point. All right, so now we're gonna take our Variator and we're gonna put it in. So final check before we put the new Variator in. You wanna hold it all together like a sandwich, push the boss all the way down, and then just to check that it moves nicely, push on the boss on the bottom, and just make sure this thing slides freely, because it really needs to be able to slide freely in there. Now, we're gonna put this in, backside in, boss side sticking out. Make sure there's no junk in there. Slide this on, push it all the way back, push the boss all the way back, grab your belt, pinch it, stick it over the boss. Now, we're gonna put on the outside plates, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my weird washer right on there. Slide this in. So it's going on that spline shaft, and then make sure the washer, when you're pushing it on, if it's in there tight enough, it's actually gonna be on the spline shaft also, so it won't rotate if it's in there deep enough. Now, I'm gonna put my little regular washer on there. I'm gonna hold that tight. Before I do, I'm gonna throw a little Loctite on it. Thanks Harbor Freight. They put their blue Loctite in a red container. Don't know why, but they do. Now, I'm gonna push this little washer back in, make sure it's all tight. I'm gonna throw my nut on. And make sure that it rotates. Yeah, there we go. I pushed it in just a little bit more to make sure that weird washer gets set on the spline shaft. I like to get this about finger tight. Now, a couple hits with the impact gun. You don't need to be 10 seconds. Just, a couple hits and it should be good. And that Loctite's gonna hold it on there anyway. So let's do this. Okay, that's good. Now let's feel it. Feels good. Let's go for a ride. So I just took 2 pieces of wire and crimped the ends on. I like to use this vice grip tool to kind of strip them. You just put it in like this, pull it, strips it for you, super easy. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put this little resistor, put the wire through the hole, halfway. We're going to turn it, and we're going to twist it. We're going to put the wire back around itself. And then we're going to put a little bit of solder on there. Same thing with the other side. Got some fairly ugly solders, but it'll work. I wired up my new turn signals that are LED with the 10 watt 3 ohm resistors and put them in line. So it's between the black and the yellow on these. It's actually going to be the blue. This is the right one. It'll be the blue one and the green one. But you have to put the wire through the hole for this to be held in the frame, and these connectors are too big to fit through the little hole. So I'm going to take this all apart, thread the wires through, and then reconnect. I just did the little jumper. Like you see here, you do the little crimp, and then you put the blade in, and it's going to go between them. It basically it makes an H with the resistor, and it's just a little too big. Put those on, feed it through, and then we'll hook up the pick up the blinkers. Here is the CDI box, this little red CDI box. What I did is I took one piece of Gorilla Tape, I made it into a loop, I stuck it in here, and then I pressed the red box in, and it is not going anywhere. I've been riding around without the cover on here, and it's great. So this wiring kit is just perfect. I didn't have to splice anything, I didn't have to cut anything. I just took off this foot plate to run down to the coil with that wire, but that was easy, and it's so fast. It's just $250 to make this thing a fire-breathing dragon. Thank you, Ruck Shop. Here's a $15 aftermarket coolant reservoir replacement. We're gonna pop it on now. Looks like we have a 8mm. I'm just going to use the little, this, if it's on there very tight. Nope, it's a 10. And once I take this hose off, it's going to leak everywhere. Let's see if I can do this now. The advice I'd have for doing this is to take the reservoir thing all the way out and push it down in so you don't have the whole thing together. When you're putting this tube down in there, right here, just push and twist when you do it, and the little lip will pop in. And then you're going to put this hose down in there, but first you want to put your snap ring around the outside to hold it on. And then all you do is you replace this little rubber ring, and you set that rubber ring on top of this little pipe. And so it's just like this. You slide it on. Slide it on like that, and then put your bolt back in. We're going to go with some Honda coolant now. Coolant reservoir is in place. All fit in pretty easily. Now it's time. We're going to put our plastics that are painted back on this rig. So I have all the plastics back on, and the battery box is on temporarily. I just have zip ties holding it on. I have to put a second zip tie up top. And I've got these imitation double take mirrors. I just put them on so it'd be easy to break them down, get rid of them when you're in the woods or in the car. And you can see the plastic. I've got some decals to put on these still. I like the tires though. Here's the windshield I added. It's for an X-Tomer from Amazon. and I got this smoked. And if you see, there's really not any description on how to actually install this thing. So I kind of look in this picture here, and you put the two bottom brackets down below the crossbar, and I'll point those out right about here. And then the other brackets go on with those little rubber things, but the rubber things didn't stay in there because they poked out. So anyway, this is it, and I'll see if I like it or not. Now for the part that everybody wants to know. How much did you spend? Well, I bought the Ruckus for $500 from a college student on a college campus, and it was in rough shape. It needed a lot of things. So let's start with maintenance. Obviously you saw the brake shoes were done, and the headlight bulbs really made a difference. And instead of an LED relay, I actually used the resistor, but it cost about the same. It needed a battery when I bought it, so that was $50. Air filter. The carburetor rebuild kit, I bought that at Honda, but it actually wasn't Honda brand. So it was like $40. You could have bought the same one on eBay for like $15. Went ahead and bought the valve shim kit. It didn't actually need it when I bought it, but we checked the valves and wanted to have them anyway. Put a new belt from the Ruck Shop. It was $25, and a new drive face from the Ruck Shop was also $30. So on maintenance, it was $275. Rounded that up to $300. Then on accessories, let's go to the top and look at accessories. The windshield was Extumer brand from Amazon, $70. The blinkers, Ben Lari LEDs, they were $64 for 2 sets, front and back. I didn't show you the saddlebags, but they were $30. Luggage rack was on the back, PSLER brand, $40. That underseat bag by Hydrant from Amazon, $37. I didn't show the barrel bag either, but it's $25. I put a fuel pump in it for $21. The foot pegs, that's the best part of the Ruckus, Mutia brand from Amazon, $17. Great price. And then the rear fender I got from the Ruck Shop for $45. So in accessories, I got $400. And then let's go all the way down to performance. I ended up not using the fork oil because those shocks aren't meant for fork oil. Stage 1 performance kit from the Ruck Shop was $250. The rear tire I found on steadygarage.com. It's a Duro HF 910. It was like $75 and then like $25 to ship it. And then I found the front tire on eBay from Shop Moto Momentum. They actually didn't have the rears, and it's a 120 9010. The rear is 130. And it was about $75. And then the front shock springs were about $100. And the rear shocks were also about $100. So that's a grand total of $1,300. And then I paid $500 for the Ruckus. So it's about $1,800 for everything that I wanted. And I'm really happy with the results. It's now time for the word of encouragement. So today it comes from Ecclesiastes 8:15. It says, "So I commend the enjoyment of life, because nothing is better for a man under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. Then joy will accompany him in his work all the days of the life God has given him under the sun." I've kept this verse on a little post-it note on my mirror for maybe 10 years. And I love that we're encouraged to enjoy the life we have. And where it says your days under the sun, that means where you are right now. It's not when I graduate, when I retire, nope, your days under the sun are right now, and we get to have joy in them. So that's pretty encouraging. I'll see you all next week.